Hello, I'm Sean Shinabar, and here's my pitch for the Bounce Off, a 2D side maze platform game where you use a bouncy ball to teleport to platforms and ledges. The goal of this game is for the stickman, the player, to work their way through the block maze and reach the finish line. Unlike standard 2D side games that feature running and jumping, players use a bouncy ball to teleport to locations. How players accomplish this and what they have to do is use angles and physics to bounce a ball to platforms and ledges that are either above, below, or across from them to make their way through the maze. The most important rules of the game are that the player must use the bouncy ball to teleport. There is no jumping to reach the platforms or the finish line. If you miss a platform, you get teleported to your doom and you lose a life. The biggest threat facing the player is the maze itself and trying to solve it, which will also include moving platforms and puzzle elements. Adding enemies and timers could be a possibility, but more on that later. Some important decisions players have to make is judging the distance from player to platform, which could dictate the amount of force they need to use before they throw. The force of the throw also affects how much the ball bounces. Too hard and the ball bounces too much, and too little and it may not bounce at all. The ball itself must come to a complete stop in order to teleport. This game has elements of popular athletic games such as dodgeball and basketball, both with feature balls that players have to throw. The teleport mechanic is based on a mechanic that is a feature in a AAA mega hit Final Fantasy XV, where the main character throws swords, and wherever they end up, the player teleports to them. Utilizing all these mechanics can create interesting play possibilities, such as utilizing the physics in a certain way to reach objectives like bouncing the ball off all kinds of walls and platforms to allow the ball to land perfectly without any excess bounce, or timing throws with the moving platforms and accounting for the bounce. There are three major risks that come with this project. The first is the scale of the levels. Figuring out what would be considered the appropriate size and length of each level will take considerable time to plan and test. The second being adding unique bouncy balls, an example being a ball that is more heavier to throw but bounces less, and a more lighter ball that bounces a lot more. These could take time to test and tune to find a good balance. Also, how many would we want is another question. And finally, adding enemies. While they could be attacked with the bouncy ball, they would need a long time to program and properly test. Also, we must consider how many different types of enemies we would want. Thank you very much for your time and attention.